This is Dan Dix here reporting for Press for Truth with an important update on the Parkland shooting narrative that is continuing to fall apart as more and more evidence is coming in that suggests that not only the authorities could have easily stopped this from happening, but that they in fact let it happen on purpose, and the American people should be outraged. Last month, I released a video titled "Breaking: Stoneman Douglas High School Shooting Official Narrative is Falling Apart," where I outlined the inconsistencies in the official narrative, the fact that bombshell eyewitness testimony was essentially being ignored, and I provided an explanation on why so-called gun control is not the answer, and here we are 1 month later as the facts continue to pile in, suggesting that they knew there was a great chance that this was going to happen, and they did everything that they could to ensure that it did. Documents in the criminal case against Nikolas Cruz, which were obtained by the Associated Press, show that school officials and the sheriff's deputy recommended that Cruz be involuntarily committed to a mental institution for evaluation. But the facts are now coming in. Those recommendations were not acted upon. The documents were provided by a psychological assessment service that was provided by Cruz's own mother. They detail the fact that a high school resource officer, who's also a sheriff's deputy, and 2 school counselors recommended back in September of 2016 that Cruz be committed for mental evaluation under what's known as Florida's Baker Act. According to the firearm prohibition for certain individuals with mental illnesses, if in fact he was committed under this recommendation, it would have been virtually impossible for him to legally obtain any firearms. The documents, which are a part of Cruz's criminal case in the shooting, show that he had written the word "kill" in a notebook. He told a classmate that he wanted to buy a gun and use it. And he was drinking gasoline and cutting himself as a way to deal with the frustration of being dumped by his girlfriend. And as we reported last month, multiple tips were flooding into the FBI, warning that it was possible Cruz wanted to use a gun at school. The documents also state that Cruz's own mother, Linda, is quoted as saying that she had fresh concerns about her son's mental state as he was punching holes in the wall at their home in Parkland. He was even visited at his home by workers from the Henderson Behavioral Health Ward, where he admitted to them that he was cutting himself and punching holes in the walls out of a fit of frustration over a breakup with his girlfriend. In fact, deputies responded to Cruz's home 23 times over the course of a 7-year period for emergencies including reports of a mentally ill person, child and elderly abuse, domestic disturbances, and a missing person report. Links will be located to all of this bombshell information in the description below, and I strongly encourage you to verify these facts for yourself because the truth has been laid out on a silver platter here, and now it's up to us to take a bite. And if all this information is completely new to you right now, the truth is, that is by design as well. As our friends at the Free Thought Project recently reported, Google's search results for questions about Parkland shooting are different from other search engines. And when comparing for the search term "girl says 3 shooters Parkland," Bing and DuckDuckGo show you exactly what you're supposed to find. Video of eyewitness testimony talking about what she saw. Google, however, the most popular internet search engine in the world, shows nothing of the sort, as they try to memory hole any key facts that disrupt the status quo and the official narrative that this was done by a gun nut and therefore guns are the problem. And sadly, a number of Parkland High School students have been thrown into the spotlight on national television to promote so-called gun control, which, as we've shown, really just amounts to a government monopoly on violence. When the real discussion here should obviously be about mental health issues amongst our youth, and the fact that more often than not, these shooters are on antidepressants or SSRI drugs from the pharmaceutical companies, where links have already been made between the uses of these drugs and suicidal tendencies within children.
The subcommittee today will examine the publication and disclosure of clinical studies conducted on prescription drugs. What has raised public interest in the disclosure of clinical trial data has been the controversy over the use of antidepressants in children. 1 out of 6 of our young people is under prescription for some sort of antidepressive drug. That is an amazing statistic.
In 2002, almost 11 million antidepressant prescriptions were written for children and adolescents. 2.7 million of those prescriptions were for children under 12 to kids as young as 7 years old.
The pediatric use of certain antidepressants increase the risk of suicide.
Correct. Suicidality, in other words, thoughts about suicide.
There may be suicidal and hostility increases. Wouldn't you want that on the label?
We want a balance of balanced information that really reflects what is known scientifically about the drug.
You've got internal studies that say suicides may be up 1.89% on Mossholder, and Columbia says, I think, 1.78 times, right?
Suicidality, yeah, right.
Okay.
Other side effects of these drugs include aggression, agitation, confusion, strange thoughts or strange dreams, unpredictable mood swings, and unusual changes in behavior, just to name a few. So the bottom line is, this shooting absolutely, most definitely could have been stopped by the authorities that ought not to be. But it seems they let this happen on purpose in order to justify the fast track to gun control. We need to reject this notion that it was the thing that was in the person's hand that was the problem, as opposed to what was going on right up here. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Do you think guns are the problem? Or is it time we take a serious look at Big Pharma's role in the violence that we're witnessing today? Be sure to check the links in the description and fact check all of this information for yourself, and share the video if you found the information to be useful, because God knows Google is going to try to memory hole this if they can. And of course, as a friendly reminder, I want to let you know that this channel is only made possible with your donations at pressfortruth.ca/donate, or by joining as a PFT member or a PFT patron. And thank you so much to anyone who contributes. Together, we can actually make a difference, and I'm not about to let up anytime soon. So thanks for watching, my friends. Stay tuned. We've got more video reports coming soon. This is Dan Dix reporting for Press for Truth.